Picture Istanbul on November 13, 1918. The city is under a heavy shadow, the kind that comes with the end of a great war. Foreign soldiers are everywhere, and their presence fills the air with tension. It feels like the city is holding its breath as leaders of the Ottoman Empire scramble to keep what little they have left. Their world is collapsing, and everyone knows it.
At this point, the Armistice of Mudros has paved the way for foreign occupation. The Ottomans are no longer in control. Yet, in the midst of this despair, something new begins to rise. Mustafa Kamal steps into the spotlight, leading a budding nationalist movement. Today, we'll dive into these early steps towards the Turkish War of Independence, a crucial chapter in history.
Let's talk about where the Ottoman Empire stood after the Armistice of Mudros. You see, this was a tough time for them. The armistice marked the start of a new struggle. The empire was forced to give up a lot, hand over control of crucial areas like the Dardanelles and the Bosporus. The loss of these territories really weakened their standing and left them vulnerable to foreign powers.
Exactly. And the resignation of Grand Vizier Talat Pasha was a significant event. It opened the empire to more demands from the powers of Europe. His stepping down symbolized the beginning of a leadership crisis within the empire. The presence of foreign soldiers was unsettling, and many in the Ottoman command started feeling discontent. They were unhappy with how easily their leaders were giving in to foreign demands, and thoughts of resistance began to circulate.
This dissatisfaction spread quickly among the military commanders. They didn't like the idea of blindly following orders from the Entente and were getting ready to act. Sultan Mehmet VI was aware of these rising tensions and knew he needed to find a way to keep a hold on power. So he tried to bring stability by appointing Damat Ferid Pasha, who would form a government that they believed to be more reliable and loyal to the crown.
It's interesting, because while the Sultan was trying to secure his authority, many in the Ottoman ranks were already looking towards a different vision for the future. The leadership changes didn't solve the dissatisfaction. Instead, they pushed many commanders further into considering rebellion. This growing divide was starting to show between those who wanted to stick to old ways and those who wanted to resist the occupation and fight for change.
Now, as the Ottoman leadership scrambled to maintain some control, Mustafa Kamal Pasha emerged as a central figure. Known for his nationalistic views, Kamal was recognized as a man of action and strategy. The Sultan, aware of the growing unrest, appointed him as inspector of the 9th Army Troops Inspectorate. This decision was meant to stabilize regions under Ottoman control, yet it was also a dangerous gamble. Kamal's past as a hero at Anafartalar and his reputation among soldiers offered hope, but his nationalist leanings presented a significant risk.
True, and once Kamal arrived in Samsun in May 1919, he began a remarkable path. Despite being under watch by the Entente and the Sultan's government, he cleverly operated under the guise of loyalty. While sending regular reports back to Constantinople expressing his compliance, he secretly gathered support for a larger cause. The British presence was thick, yet their suspicions were not enough to stop Kamal's plans. His actions in Samsun quietly ignited the flames of organized resistance.
Kamal's strategy was precise. He knew the value of appearing loyal while slowly building momentum for resistance. This was a fine line to walk, especially under the eyes of both British officers and Constantinople officials. His aim was to revolutionize the situation without drawing too much attention at first. By feigning adherence to the existing order, he was able to establish strong connections with local military leaders, which was crucial for what was to come.
Exactly. It's fascinating how Kamal managed to maintain this dual role. The locals in Samsun and the surrounding areas began to see him as a symbol of hope. He was the embodiment of a new future, one where the Ottoman people could take back their destiny. His actions laid the groundwork for the first real sparks of resistance, setting the stage for a national movement. Despite the risks, Mustafa Kamal was crafting the beginnings of the Turkish War of Independence.
Following Mustafa Kamal's arrival at Samsun, his efforts in Amasya were crucial. He began to unite the scattered nationalist forces, which included reaching out to like-minded commanders all over the country. The goal was to create a sense of unity and shared purpose among them. With this enthusiasm, the Congress of Erzurum and later the Congress of Sivas became turning points. They managed to outline a clear vision for an independent future, setting the foundation for the national movement.
Indeed, these congresses were more than just meetings. They were the start of a whole new phase. Leaders, including Mustafa Kamal, expressed clear ideas for a new, self-reliant country. However, the path was not clear of challenges. Despite orders from the Sultan for his arrest, Kazım Karabekir Pasha stood firm in support of Kamal. This defiance was pivotal. It showed that the army's loyalty was starting to shift towards the nationalist cause, which was key to strengthening the resistance.
The shift in loyalty led to a significant breakthrough when the Committee of Representation was set up. This was more than just a political body. It symbolized hope and a new beginning. Established after the Congress of Erzurum and Congress of Sivas, it gave rise to an organized response against the occupation forces. Mustafa Kamal and his team were now coordinating efforts across the region, bringing together various groups into a cohesive unit. This marked a pivotal point in rallying the people towards independence.
The establishment of this committee was like a rallying cry for freedom. With this move, Mustafa Kamal and his supporters could now clearly communicate their goals. They not only wanted to drive out foreign powers, but also aimed to shape a country rooted in independence and unity. The bravery of people like Kazım Karabekir Pasha and others was inspiring, showing that even amidst obstacles, the national spirit was hard to break. This newfound unity and national focus would soon see momentum building across the country.
After the Greek landing at Smyrna, tensions between the Turks and Greeks were undeniably strained. The Greeks had claimed to be peacekeepers, but their actions led to chaos and violence, which fueled animosity. The Kuva-i Milli, a guerrilla movement, didn't waste time responding to this threat. They were local forces using hit-and-run tactics, and they were critical in resisting the Greek advance. It was a tough time, with townspeople rallying together to protect their homes against a more organized army.
Yes, the divide within Turkey was growing deeper by the day. Many Turks felt torn between supporting the nationalists and fearing the consequences of open rebellion. Meanwhile, figures like Ahmet Ansavur were rallying support against Mustafa Kemal's movement. Ansavur was loyal to the Sultan and saw the nationalists as dangerous rebels, even collaborating with the British to counter their efforts. This internal conflict was as much about the struggle for power as it was about the future identity of Turkey itself. The pressure from the Entente added another layer of tension, as they were increasingly involved in shaping the region's fate.
The external pressures were immense. The Entente powers, particularly the British, were keeping a keen eye on these developments. They saw the power struggle in Turkey as an opportunity to increase their own influence, but were aware that this could be a double-edged sword. The Kuva-i Milli were proving to be more resilient than anticipated, and their resistance was starting to inspire a wider nationalist sentiment. People began to see hope in the idea of a unified, independent Turkey, free from foreign dominion and internal discord.
This burgeoning nationalist spirit wasn't just about military resistance. It was also about redefining national identity and control of their future. While there was growing antagonism towards Sultan Mehmet VI, whose power was perceived to be under the thumb of foreign influences, the nationalists were gaining traction. Despite the fraught atmosphere, Mustafa Kemal's leadership was beginning to resonate with more people, urging them to push back against both the foreign and domestic forces working against Turkey's future. This period was crucial in setting the stage for what would soon be broader nationalistic efforts across the region.
As we continue the story, there's a significant shift happening. The British now see the Greek forces as the main enforcers in the region. This change speaks volumes about the dynamics of power. While Sultan Mehmet VI was previously seen as a puppet of the Western powers, his support starts to dwindle. The more reliant the Entente becomes on Greek troops, the more apparent this support drain becomes. This turn of events sets the stage for a major rethink in the Ottoman strategy.
Indeed, the changing landscape creates an opening for the nationalists. Mustafa Kemal and his followers are gaining strength and starting to take control of several key cities. The public spirit seems to be swaying in favor of the nationalists, as more citizens begin to align with them rather than the Sultan. There is a palpable shift in energy, as more people feel that standing with Mustafa Kemal could lead to real change and eventually complete independence. It's a high-stakes moment with all eyes watching these developing events closely.
This shift is crucial because the national movement is gaining not just ground, but also momentum. Mustafa Kamal's strategies are proving effective, allowing them to seize important towns and further weaken the Sultan's power. Each victory on the ground is both a strategic gain and a symbolic one, underscoring the growing nationalist ambition to reclaim control over their land. As they advance, there's a stronger sense that freedom and sovereignty may be within reach, which only accelerates their efforts.
Yes, with this growing support, it seems the narrative is changing for the people of Turkey. There's an unmistakable momentum behind Mustafa Kemal. As the people start to reconsider their alliances, support for Sultan Mehmed VI loses steam, further isolating his position. More than just a territorial battle, this is about national identity and self-determination. What began as a movement is now a call to action for many Turks, galvanizing them for the battles yet to come and painting a hopeful picture of an independent future.
Today, we recap the journey toward Turkey's struggle for sovereignty, highlighting the development of dual power centers in Ankara and Constantinople. It has been an intense battle between the old and new leaders, each with their vision for the future. The stakes have never been higher, and the escalating conflict is pushing the nation to a critical threshold in the independence struggle. This story of resistance and determination continues to hold valuable lessons for us all.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the early steps of the Turkish War of Independence. If you found today's discussion engaging, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your support helps us delve deeper into these pivotal moments in history. Stay tuned as we continue to explore regional conflicts and their eventual resolutions in upcoming episodes. Until then, keep questioning and stay curious.